Good evening to my fellow tech and innovation enthusiasts. I'm Julie Luecht and I serve as the Office Managing Principal of KPMG in Houston. I'm honored to be included in tonight's kickoff celebration and look forward to an exciting week of Tech Rodeo. KPMG is a professional services firm providing audit, tax, and advisory services. We help companies and startups improve their business performance, turning risk and compliance into opportunities, developing strategies, and enhancing value. At KPMG, we're on the cutting edge of helping companies thrive in a competitive environment with innovative programs in locations such as KPMG Innovation Labs, where we provide insights on signals of change from an outside-in perspective, so you can understand and plan for what's coming around the corner. At KPMG Ignition, we work with you and your team, helping you proactively plan for disruption, exploring fresh insights, new business models, and breakthrough solutions. KPMG Lakehouse is a leading facility that fosters new ways of thinking, learning, and collaborating. KPMG Lakehouse is a strategic long-term investment and will continue to ensure our extraordinary people are ahead of the curve in evolving technologies and disruptors. I mentioned these three facilities to share a small glimpse on how KPMG is leading innovation and technology and why we are sponsoring Houston Exponential's Tech Rodeo. Throughout this week, we are excited to be virtually alongside you and participate at many of the events that Houston Exponential has curated. So, on behalf of KPMG professionals in Houston, welcome to Tech Rodeo 2021. Yeehaw!
Hi, I'm Harvin Moore, head of Houston Exponential, or HX. I want to welcome all of you to the second annual Houston Tech Rodeo. What a crazy year it's been, but it is so good to see you guys in person again. Wait, isn't this recorded? Oh, can we edit that out? Okay, and let's lose this hat too. Awesome. I love technology. The Houston Tech Rodeo is a festival that celebrates the nexus of popular culture and technology in Houston. HX organizes a few of the Tech Rodeo events and provides and runs the virtual platform, but mostly Tech Rodeo is a series of co-marketed events put on by the growing number of organizations that make up Houston's tech innovation ecosystem. In addition to growing our young ecosystem, HX also wants to help that ecosystem become more relevant, more accessible to a larger segment of our diverse community. That is frankly something that our nation's leading ecosystems have not done very well. But because we're at such an early stage of this sector here in Houston, we can all work together to make our future more inclusive and innovative than other cities have. At HX, we attract, connect, and promote. We help attract talent and capital. We help connect the organizations that interact directly with entrepreneurs, and we help get out the word about what's happening here in Houston, including the data we collect, which helps those organizations and startups attract even more talent and capital. A great example of Connect is the Houston Tech Rodeo. Founded just 1 year ago, the Tech Rodeo has quickly transformed into an essential destination for founders, present and future, and talented individuals to spur new connections and ideas while highlighting all that Houston has to offer. Above all, Tech Rodeo seeks to be a source of inspiration for all Houstonians, especially the next generation of creators from diverse backgrounds, showcasing how tech can be a catalyst for ambitious people to achieve their dreams, uplift their communities, and change the world. Now, I want to be sure to introduce you to the mascot of the Houston Tech Rodeo. Well, it's a tech rodeo, so it's supposed to be a unicorn. As you may know, a unicorn is a privately held tech company with a valuation of over $1 billion. And until last year, Houston had never had one. But early in 2020, Houston fintech company HighRadius hit unicorn status. And by the end of last year, Axiom Space had become Houston's second unicorn, 2 in 1 year. Houston has clearly entered an inflection point. Venture capital raised in the first 3 months of 2021 is higher than the amount raised in all of 2017 or 2018. But we are a baby ecosystem. This is only the beginning. So keep up the good work. Keep attending events like these, because innovation happens when people and ideas interact. And if you're a tech investor or if you're a founder, be sure to list your company on htxtechlist.com. TechList is a free platform that HX provides to make our ecosystem better connected and more transparent and searchable to outside talent and capital. Lastly, I want to thank the platinum and gold level sponsors of this year's Tech Rodeo: KPMG, Dell, Accenture, the Greater Houston Partnership, and Deloitte. For all of you who have supported HX or our other ecosystem and startup development organization partners, thank you. Your investments in building the capacity of this ecosystem to create jobs, increase innovation, and build a better future will not only benefit your organization, but will have a leveraged effect on the prosperity of our entire community. Now, I would like to introduce my friend and the mayor of the city of Houston, Sylvester Turner. Mayor Turner was one of the visionary leaders who recognized the need for immediate and collaborative effort 4 years ago to build Houston's technology innovation ecosystem. Houston thanks you for your continued leadership, Mayor Turner.
This is Houston Mayor Sylvester Turner. I am proud to welcome you today to the second annual Houston Tech Rodeo, a booming festival of more than 100 events by and for our diverse technology innovation ecosystem. How far our young ecosystem has come. Just over 4 years ago, I created the Mayor's Task Force on Innovation, and out of that effort was created Houston Exponential, an independent nonprofit organization tasked with building our capacity to create more technology jobs. We did that because Houston was lagging in startup creation. As the 4th largest city in our country, we were 19th in venture capital. Houston Exponential works as a convening organization to attract, connect, and promote talent, capital, and startup development organizations to this city. Just 4 years later, this effort is paying off. Venture capital has risen 250% in those 4 years, rising every year to its highest level ever in 2020, over $750 million, despite both a pandemic and an energy crisis in our local economy. And this year, we're on track to smash last year's record with venture capital raised in the first 3 months of 2021, higher than in all of 2017 or 2018. I believe that Houston's diversity and culture are what makes it the greatest city in America. As the most diverse large city in America, we welcome and share more viewpoints and ideas than anywhere else. It is well known that diverse teams create more innovation, and there is no better place to build a diverse team than in Houston. But Houston's culture is just as important. This city has a culture of collaboration like no other. And it is that collaboration that has created the results we have seen in these past 4 years. That shared effort has brought together hundreds of large and small companies, colleges, universities, and research institutions, startup development organizations, investors, and government, from local government to federal, like our own NASA Johnson Space Center, to support entrepreneurs and their teams here. So, thank you to KPMG and to the other large corporate sponsors of this great event. Your support of the innovation ecosystem makes Tech Rodeo, as well as the amazing growth of startups we have seen, possible. This is a team effort, and we all benefit as a community. And to our attendees, near or far, virtual or in person, Houston is going back to work safely. In a friendly and collaborative city like Houston, we know and feel the value of seeing our friends and colleagues in person, and we know that innovation is driven by personal interaction. I'm so glad to see this year's Tech Rodeo happening in a hybrid format. So, as you always hear me say, be safe, get vaccinated, wear your mask, and collaborate and innovate. And now, I'd like to kick off the Houston Tech Rodeo opening Fireside Chat by introducing none other than Percy Miller, the rapper, actor, record producer, and entrepreneur, also known as Master P.
Make 'em say, Hey everyone, welcome to the Houston Tech Rodeo. This is the keynote interview and the theme is Gettin' in the Game. My name is Zach O'Malley Greenberg. I'm a writer and author, and I am here with the illustrious Master P, one of the most successful hip hop artists of all time, as well as an incredible entrepreneur way beyond the music business. So without further ado, Master P, give it up virtually.
Yeah,
Good to see
how
you,
you
man.
doing, man? Man, great to see you. This pandemic has been crazy. I'm just excited that people are getting back to some type of normalcy, and we're getting back to business and being able to do things that we normally do, which even though during this pandemic, I mean, it's been great for a lot of people to create other business and create other avenues and revenue streams. But this is, you know, when you talk about the tech business and talk about the tech world, I know a lot of people had time to come up with so many great ideas. And that's what I love about this rodeo. I know this is the second year, the second annual. And I'm excited for everybody to be a part of this and be a part of this change. When you talk about African Americans and minorities to be at the forefront of this is incredible. This is what we came together for. That, you know, you're seeing a lot of protesting in the streets for injustice, but this is all about economic empowerment. So that's what I love about this, how we all came together. Blacks, white, Asian, Latinos, we coming together for economic empowerment. And that's what I love about this.
Oh, for sure. And I wish we could all be here in Houston in person, but
Yeah.
let's talk about Houston for a minute. I mean, you know, I know that, you know, New Orleans has been sort of the place that you're most closely associated with. And I'm from New York, but I spent a lot of time in Houston. My mom used to live down there off of Woodway.
Yes.
And I know that you went to college in Houston, right? You played ball there?
Yes, I went to University of Houston. So Houston is like my second home. This is a beautiful place. A lot of beautiful people here in Houston. And it's just incredible. It's an incredible place for me. I feel like I built part of my character here, going to college here, having that experience and just meeting so many great people and entrepreneurs. Matter of fact, the guy who owned the Houston Rockets, he went to University of Houston too. So I'm like, wow, we got a lot of great people come from this place.
Oh, for sure. And so you have a deal actually, right? With you're still doing a lot of business in, you know, all around, but in Houston, I know you have a new deal with HEB, right?
Yes, yes. Now it's incredible. It's incredible to be in HEB and to be able to be a part of the whole movement for change, getting African American owned products onto shelves and adding that diversity is so incredible because it's a lack of African American and Latino products on these shelves in these major grocery chains. So this HEB, I salute them for opening the doors, and we've been able to have this opportunity to do this in Texas.
And that's with that you have a brand of rice, right? There's a pancake mix. There's all kinds of. Tell us a little about the empire.
Yes, I got the Uncle P pancake, syrup, rice, seafood batter, fish batter, the Uncle P cereals, the wrap snacks, the chips, the noodles. And I mean, I tell people we taking over the grocery stores. That's my thing. I did it in the music industry, but now to be able to take over the grocery stores, this is important. This is how we build generational wealth and to be able to pass this down from generation to generation. And for me, it's all about the more I make, the more I give. So this is bigger than just making money. I don't do this to make money. I do this to be able to help others, to be able to be a blessing to others. At the same time, you want to have great business, but that's my motivation, to be able to help others. So our motto is the more we make, the more we give.
For sure. You know, so that's a big part of the Houston piece right there. But, you know, let's talk a little bit more about the tech side of things, this being the Houston Tech Rodeo and all. You know, certainly over the past few years, we've seen a lot of activity, hip hop and venture capital kind of coming together. You know, we just saw Nas and Jay-Z on a song together, DJ Khaled, you know, and the thrust of the song is, let's talk about our startup investments. Let's talk about, Coinbase going public. Like this is the new thing to brag about, right? But you've been into the whole investing thing and into the tech side of thing, for decades. I mean,
Yes.
I remember, what was it, 98? You told the New York Times, I want to be the ghetto Bill Gates, right?
Yes.
Talk about tech, So what was sort of the philosophy, back then, around sort of tech and change and investing that got you kind of on the path that you're at today?
Well, I noticed that technology changes every year, and you have to be prepared. And during that time, in the late 90s, I was thinking, how would the 21st century look like? And what else could I do besides music? MP3s was coming into play. And you're just looking at how technology is growing. And you're saying, at least me, I was saying to myself, I have to be a part of this. I need to diversify my portfolio. And it's going to happen in the tech side of where we at right now. You have all type of coins now. You have cryptocurrency. The stock market is open up for people that come from minority backgrounds to where now we're thinking bigger. And I think that's what it was for me, saying, let's think outside the box. A music career only lasts 3 to 5 years at the most. That's a great career. So I started thinking, diversifying my portfolio, and I looked at the tech side. I said, this is where it got to be at, because I was in Richmond, California, and Oakland, and to be able to see Silicon Valley and saying, wow, look what these guys are doing at such a young age, then we need to be on that path. And that's what I love about the Jay-Z and Nas coming together, hip hop coming together. Well, we're talking about, we're coming together now to build economic empowerment. And we are stronger together. Hip hop is ruling the nation right now. And to be able to be a part of that, being on the front line for change, to say, let's look at financial literacy, let's look at empowering each other, and let's look at business and entrepreneurs. I think that's the great thing that the 21st century has brought us, coming from hip hop, coming from minority-owned companies, coming from poverty, and showing people that we able to create other avenues and revenues of income outside of what you see as athletes and entertainers or movie stars. And when I look at the percentage rate of the CEOs in corporate America and the Fortune 500 companies, is only 1/10 of 1% African American and minorities. And that needs to change. So we need to think bigger, think outside the box, thinking of running these companies, running Amazon, running all these big brands that you see, and being able to take people from our culture that has great talent, that has great business sense, and also have the degrees to go with it to be qualified to run these companies. So I've been thinking about that for so long. Even looking at the HBCUs, saying, if more women graduate from HBCUs than any other university, why not these ladies running these corporate companies? And we need to change that narrative, because it's a lot of well-educated HBCU graduates, but we need to see them at the front line in corporate America at the same time. So just thinking of ways to figure out how to even that playing field to where we get some balance and add some diversity. So that my mindset has always been thinking outside the box when it comes to technology. And it's the key. I mean, if you look at from Facebook and you look at all these companies that has been created and all the wealth that has been created, it's been created through these tech companies.
Sure. And I think, in a way, you're very much the embodiment of sort of the startup culture. People know your name, they know what you're about, they know make them say but they don't know perhaps that you started out with 10 grand in seed funding, essentially, right, in the Bay Area.
Yes.
And then you turn this into a $1 million empire. So let's hear the kind of like the play by play, how you ended up going from Louisiana to Northern California and back, and really having your own startup with no limit and turning that 10,000 into the empire that it eventually became.
Yeah, I mean, so if people that know my story and the ones that really don't know it, I had failed a lot. So don't be afraid to fail, but get out and take that chance on yourself, invest in yourself. And that's what I was able to do. The $10,000 seed money that I got from my grandfather, unlawful debt. My grandmother gave all the kids in the house $10,000, and I started a business. So everybody think you need a lot of money to create an empire. I created the empire with $10,000, but I invest my time. It wasn't just about the money. I had to make changes in my life. It was about doing the right thing. It was about overcoming adversity and putting my trust and faith in God and actually working on myself. And anybody that's listening to this, I started in New Orleans, went to Richmond, California, opened up a record store, and I learned the music business from the ground up. And I know a lot of people, they think when they get into business, they're just gonna make multi-millions of dollars. It just don't happen like that. For me, it didn't happen. It took years. It took years of feeling. It took years of educating myself, being committed to what I believe in, my dreams and my goals, and also investing in me and doing the right thing. So it was a journey. I went from New Orleans to Richmond, California. Then I went back to New Orleans to build my empire. And I got a lot of the game. So we're talking about game right now. I got a lot of my independent game from the Bay Area, which I was able to take back home to Louisiana and create a even bigger empire, because a lot of people wasn't thinking the independent route like in the Bay Area, what I had learned from being able to sell my product out the trunk of my cars, able to find distribution companies that was local and put my music into a system. And so that's what my life came from, having nothing, from poverty to being able to create a multi-million-dollar empire, which is incredible. It takes a lot of self-trust, takes a lot of change, a lot of commitment. And I keep saying commitment because you have to be committed to what you do and you have to love it. It never was about money. I feel like when you're passionate about something, you have a purpose, you would get there. If you do it for money, you'll probably never be successful. Because I meet a lot of people all the time say, look, I just want to make millions of dollars. I'm like, you're not going to make millions of dollars if you don't do something that you love. And if you get it that easy, you're probably going to lose it even quicker. So use your passion and your purpose to get to the success and the dreams that, and I'm going to tell you guys, on my journey, I used to always write down like what I'm doing, my dreams and my goals. And every day I'm doing something to get there. So yeah, write your dreams and goals down and don't be afraid to keep looking at it all the time. Think positive, speak positive. And even when I had nothing, I was saying that I'm waiting on my money. The house I'll be living in is coming soon. I never spoke negative on myself. So, don't do that. Keep the faith and believe in your dreams and your goals and love it. So if you love it, it's almost like when you believe in something, it's like you love it like when you're hungry. When you're hungry, you need food and you're gonna do whatever it takes to get it. That's the attitude you gotta have for success. You gotta be hungry, and then you gotta feed yourself with your success, because you keep going, you keep moving.
Yeah. And my dad always told me, if you love what you do, you never have to work a day in your life. So
Yes, yeah, because it's all fun. People
yeah,
don't realize like it's like a basketball player. I have two kids that's Mercy and Hersey that my boys they're great in basketball, and they don't have to play. They love it. They put their body through all this strenuous exercise, and I look at them and I'm like, why do you guys do that? It's like, well, this is what I want to do. This is what I love doing. And that makes me feel good knowing that these kids are on the right track because they doing it because they love it. They're not doing it for money. And you, like you said, you're gonna be happy with whatever you do if that's what you love doing and that's your purpose.
yeah, no, totally. And I mean, so you obviously have a quite an illustrious history in basketball yourself. I mean,
Yes.
playing on, for two different NBA teams in various
Yes.
capacities. So, how did that kind of work in, and, how did you balance that with the music and entrepreneurship and, ultimately decide to home in and focus on the music stuff despite, the actual basketball career opportunities that you had?
Well, basketball changed and saved my life. As a kid, I learned that team spirit from basketball, and I was able to take that in my career and build an empire, that whole team family atmosphere, and also being able to play with the Charlotte Hornets and the Toronto Raptors is incredible because it takes hard work. People don't realize the hard work I had to put in to actually get on those teams, to be able to put that uniform on and suit up and be just as good as any other NBA player, to score buckets in the NBA. That's the hardest thing to do. There's a lot of great athletes, and I guess that hard work pushed me to chasing that dream and that goal. But people don't know I did it the hard way because I went through the CBA back then. So you had to get called up for 10 days to get to the NBA. So I had to start over from the ground up, but I've always was a great basketball player in high school. After high school, that got me to college to be able to go on. And then I got into my music career, and I went back and chased that professional dream. I just had that bug in me where I was like, you know what? I can't stop. I got to get out here and go get it. I got to go out here and make it happen. And that's basically what it was for me, just chasing that dream, like doing it because I love it, not doing it for the money. So I was able to experience that as a professional athlete. And that was a big X I had to take off my board to where, you know what, I knew I should have been in the NBA a long time ago, but look how God to take you on that journey, and it came right back, and I was able to accomplish that.
So why focus on music, as opposed to just doing business, on your end? Like, why not? You could have followed the path of a Berry Gordy or Richard Branson, right, who start the labels and then build out from there, and they never become artists, versus being Master P or Puff Daddy or that kind of path.
Yeah, well, for me, being Master P, it's almost like I have an entrepreneur spirit that just like I got to learn everything about what I'm doing. Even if I'm in the music business, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna wear 10 different hats just in case this don't go right. And I feel like by me being an artist and an entertainer and owning a company, if everything else failed, then I could put that trust and faith in myself that I'm gonna work the hardest. I'm gonna get out here and make it happen. And I think that's why I was able to survive so long, because I've always, even though like Barry Gordy and them, they ran the companies, but they still had to chase after the talent. And if, for me, if I could be the talent in the person that runs the company, I feel like it's no limit. And that's basically what it was. It was no limit, because I know I could depend on myself. You can't always depend on artists. I mean, once artists get to a certain level, then they need all the bells and whistles. They're not moving. They need to be pampered. And I never was like that. I've always showed up and did my part, and I appreciate and love my fans for showing that same love and support, for buying my music, being a part of the movement. We went from selling no records to selling over 100 million records. So that was nothing but the fans and us being able to create a movement. And I feel like if I didn't get out there myself, like this probably wouldn't have happened. If I wanted to just party and chill, like I had no time to do that. I always tell people everybody got 24 hours, but I know what I'm doing. I don't know what other people are doing. My whole thing as being an entrepreneur, I can't be out hanging at parties. I can't just be chilling and playing all day. If I'm gonna run the company and be one of the top artists on the company label, then I need to be focused. I need to be investing my time wisely. And so I knew that I could depend on me. And I think that's what made the longevity for No Limit, because I think even after people see me doing the right thing, then a lot of other people around, they wanted to invest their time into their talent and instead of sitting around like most artists and wait to be pampered. People at No Limit, this was like a university. Everybody was coming to study to not only learn how to be an artist, but learn entrepreneurship, financial literacy. They seen that I started preparing for the future. And I tell people all the time, show me your friends and I can show you your future. So, yeah.
I love that quote. I'm going to have to borrow that.
Because if you're just hanging out just think about it, if you're just hanging out. I tell people all the time, the pigeons can't fly with the eagles because they too close to the ground. Eagles is flying high. And the pigeons on the ground looking for the bird seed. The eagles dreaming. They up in the clouds. They up in the skies. They flying. And if you're just hanging out at the clubs and you just partying and wasting your time, you're gonna wake up not being where you think you should be at. And if you spend your time wisely, you're gonna be successful.
And I think one of the main keys in your career and in so many careers in the entrepreneurship kind of world, it's ownership, right? I mean, whether it's a record label or a startup, it's, how long can you keep your company? I mean, how long can you go without having to take outside investment or sell the company outright? And, how did you kind of come into that philosophy of the importance of ownership back before it was cool, right? I mean, in the 90s when, everything was all about advances and, and that kind of thing.
Well, most people wanted that. They wanted that advance check. They wanted that money up front. And my thing was, I wanted to have the control in the end. I've always thought like that because when you come from a poor culture, you look at life differently. Like, at least I did. I don't know how everybody else look at it, but I'm like, I got to get out of here. I got to get out of this life that I'm living. I want better for my family. I want better for my kids. And the only way I'm going to do that is if I do something, it got to be longevity, where I own the largest percent of the company. It's okay to have partners, but when you own the majority of the stock, then you can make the decisions. You are in control. And I just learned that at a young age, to where I needed to be in control. I didn't have to own everything, but if I can control the company, then I can make the decisions. Because if you got 20 people making decisions, it's hard to actually even come to some type of commitment to where we're going to do it this way. Because it has to be, any company has to be done on the lead of somebody ideas and values. And I think that's where I got it from. Like, you know what? If I'm going to control the narrative, if I'm going to control the brand and the growth of the brand, then it has to be on whatever I believe in, or even if somebody else believe in it, then I have to play my part and play my role. But that was the thing for me, is being able to control the narrative and to be able to make the decision. So You know how they say with all these companies, there's so many Indians and no chiefs. I wanted to change that to where we could actually make some decisions and we could move quicker than, especially being a minority-owned company. You definitely have to be able to be 10 steps ahead of the game.
Oh, definitely. And, you know, and I think now it's just, you know, we're kind of seeing all across the industry, you know, hip hop in those days, especially, you know, you would knock on the door and it wouldn't open. So you had to build your own door, right? And so,
Yeah.
you know, when you look at you or Puff or Jay, you know, et cetera, you know, a lot of the stories are, you know, maybe, I mean, I know like Jay-Z he first went to this company Iceberg to try to get an endorsement deal. And
Yeah.
they said, no, we're not interested, even though we see how your lyrics are making our shirts sell. He said, well, I got to go build my own, right? And, you know, same with Puff. He went and built his own. And I think this sort of like entrepreneurship by necessity has helped build hip hop into what it is today, where, you know, you see the value of the ownership and you see, you know, guys like Jay and Kanye becoming billionaires.
Yes.
because they, you know, that's how they came up, but then they realized actually this is a better way of doing it. You know, if you can have the control, if you can have your creative vision, and you know, then you can kind of take it where you want. So, you know, I think also another thing that to keep in mind for a lot of people watching out there, it's like, oh, you know, everything seems like it comes up roses all the time, you know, SAP, all these companies, but you know, for every company or every idea that works, I mean, how many are there that don't work? And, you know, what are sort of the lessons you've learned from the ventures that didn't work out? You know, from the ideas or the companies that, you know, that fell flat. You know, how did you kind of pick yourself up and move on to the next one?
Yeah, I mean, I don't look at it as a loss. I look at it as a lesson. Every L is a lesson. And every time I had a business fail, then I learned something from that to where it opened up the doors. And then in the future, it's almost like when I first got into the shoe business, like I spent a lot of money on buying shoes back in the days, getting it shipped over in all these containers. And then I go back now to the 21st century. I created Manyatis, motivating oneself, encourage you actively to think independently. I'm able to create a massive company, but not have to warehouse as much stuff as I had to with the power of the e-commerce system now. And everybody is online, everybody's buying. So now I could make an order, place it, get it out the same time. I don't have to store a whole bunch of shoes like I had to do. So I learned from that, even though, you know, you look at, well, what did you learn? I learned distribution. I learned to prepare for the technology and how the game is changing. People are not going to the stores as much as they used to. And everybody is online shopping and buying now. Even in the grocery business, I made a lot of product that didn't work back then. And now I was able to not only create great partnerships with me and my guy, James Lindsay, to create all kind of brands and potato chips. But at first, 20 years ago, the potato chip brand didn't work. It was okay, but it wasn't what it is today. And that everything that we learned and all the mistakes we made back then, we was able to go back and fix it. And now we got one of the biggest brands in the world when you talk about potato chips, the wrap snacks, and the wrap noodles. Even in the grocery store, knowing exactly how to get product on shelves, because I used to buy a lot of product back then, but I couldn't sell it. So who want to have a warehouse full of product that you can't sell? And now I realize that in order for me to create these brands, I have to have distribution. I have to be able to get it in for the right price. And I have to know what market share I'm selling this to, and what trucking companies I'm dealing with, how to make a profit off of this. And it all goes from, you got to pay for those valuable lessons just don't happen overnight. Nobody's just going to give you that game. And it's not something that I don't think that you could learn just by somebody telling it to you. You have to go through something. So anybody watching this, failure is so important. The guy who created the light bulb, he failed 999 times and finally got it right. And now the whole world has lights. So don't be afraid to fail. I tell people all the time, I fail forward. I fail forward. I put my hands, catch myself, get back up and start running. It's not a race, it's a marathon. And don't be afraid to fail. Don't be afraid to put the work in, sacrifice, and get better. That's what failure do. You get that bad taste. It's almost like having a bad taste of food. You're like, I don't want that no more. That ain't about to happen no more. So that might skyrocket you to something even bigger, to do something that you probably, I mean, even in the music business, I feel like people wasn't buying my music at first. They, I'm in the West Coast. I have a country accent. And it's like, it just don't go. And I had to figure it out. And I'm like, I'm putting all these records out, but I'm not making money off it. I'm not even making my money back. But I kept getting better and better and better. And then the doors just opened up and it made me unique. So I was different. So being different will open up even more doors, and the hard work that you put with it, I think it'll get you to your destination. The destination is success. So you might have to take some bumps and bruises, some turns, some twists to get there. But if you stay on that road to your destiny, if you put the work in, and through failure, through adversity, you will get to that road to success.
Yeah, for sure. And where is that road taking you now? What is kind of occupying the bulk of your time these days?
Well, what's taking up the bulk of my time now is product. I feel like product outweighs talent. Product will be around even when we're not here. 25 years later, I had the Ice Cream Man song, Ice Cream Man album. Now I have the Mr. Ice Cream Man LA Great, which is, I mean, probably gonna be one of the biggest ice cream companies in the world. It's Southern style ice cream. We created a water company, LA Great Water. So much product. I just want to take over the grocery stores. My whole life is about taking over the grocery stores and putting money back into the community and giving our culture and our people opportunities and jobs, which they probably never would have if we wouldn't have this business and this brand. So I'm more focused on helping other minority-owned companies and brands get their products on the shelves. I've been helping a lot of companies get their products into these stores, whether it's through diversity or just having great brands that people just don't see or don't get marketed or don't get promoted. I created a YouTube TV show. It's called Master P Reviews, where we shine the light on small company products and we do it for free. My thing is building economic empowerment in our culture. So this is the way to eliminate poverty and crime. The more people we get out into the mainstream that have their products and brands, the more people that they can help, the more people that they can put on. So it's all about, when we talk about giving that game, it's all about putting us on and giving us that game. And it's all about economic empowerment. We are stronger together in the way we do this. I tell people all the time, we don't need to march and protest without a plan of action. The plan of action is economic empowerment. Let's put money back into these communities. That's the only way we can control these communities. And let's understand the importance of technology. Let's get into this tech savvy world that we're living in right now to create wealth.
And you talked about that tech savvy world, and we've been talking about it throughout. I mean, given your experience in the Bay Area back in the day, and given what you're doing now, given the emphasis on venture capital and angel investing throughout the hip hop world.
Yeah.
Where are you going? In addition to your investments in the grocery business, have you been dabbling in sort of the VC world and investing in startups, that kind of thing, with tech companies too?
Yes. The VC world is very very on my radar. And when you look at, even if you look at why it's important for us to understand that, I created a fund with UBS. It's a $10 million fund, and it's all about this, giving our culture an opportunity to bring some of these ideas to life and put money back into the community. So I have a real targeted audience of investors that I'm looking at that will be successful and put money back into the community, into the culture. And that's what I'm focused on. So this $10 million fund that we created with UBS is all about that. When you look at Clubhouse, imagine a minority investor in a tech company like that going and try to get startup money for that. It just don't happen. I mean, this guy was able to get $12 million to turn this into a probably billion-dollar company now. And I feel like in our communities with our culture, we have a lot of great ideas, but we can't get it funded. So I teamed up with UBS to do that, to really shine that light on minority-owned companies that has the talent, that has the educational background, that has great product, but just can't get it funded due to a lack of diversity in funding, due to a lack of diversity in belief. And I want to change that narrative to bring some of these ideas and business ideas to life for minority-owned companies.
Yeah, and I think especially given the way that the venture capital world is made up, and so much of the activity is happening in California.
Yes.
There are just huge sections of the country that go, I don't want to say totally unnoticed, but are vastly.
Yeah. No, but it's true. It's like it's an imbalance. That's what we would say. It's like it's an imbalance, and we need to change that narrative as people. It's not a white or black thing. It's just an imbalance. I love all my people, and I just hate how when you look at investors funding corporations by minority-owned companies, I mean, it's at the bottom of the totem pole. We talk about it. We know that it exists. We know that it needs change in that game, but it's time for us to start doing something about it. And I'm actually challenging all the other investors to be able to step up and be a part of this movement. I feel like this is a movement that I'm starting, and I want other investors to say, you know what, let's look for some of these minority-owned companies and let's fund them and let's help them bring their ideas to life. And I just think that it's going to change the way we all live as people, because when we have more wealth in the African American in our Latino communities, we're going to be able to spread that and build the love, and we'll be able to take away a lot of this hate that is going on, because people are angry, mad, upset because they're not where they want to be at, whether it's educational wise. So we have to invest in minority education, and we have to invest in minority business to actually change that. We have to reprogram our thinking. And the only way we do that is investing into the community and in the culture, because especially the ones that want a hand up, not a handout. It's a lot of people that want to make a change in their own communities. And I think this is the way we start. I mean, and it got to be a business idea that makes sense, that's going to make money for investors. This is not for charity. This is real business. And I think that's the movement that I'm starting right now.
Yeah, and I think so much of it is, it builds on itself, right? I mean, there was this great quote. I think Will.i.am said something like, he was one of the investors in Beats by Dre, and
Yes.
when the deal went down, he said, yeah, like this is cool for Dre and all, but what's really cool is that there's some kid out there who's gonna think like, oh, wait a minute, I could be an audio engineer, I could be I
Yes.
could go work at a tech company, and that might not even have occurred to them before, but now there are more and more role models who came from the same kind of places, who look like them, and
Yeah.
and that path is available. And I think with venture capital, the idea of hearing you talk about investing, or hearing Nas rap about Coinbase, and like
Yeah.
how he probably made more money off of Coinbase than he did his entire music career,
Yeah.
if not
Yeah.
it's close. I think that that's just going to create a whole other generation, that's looking at these other opportunities as like viable career paths. And I think that's where it really starts to change, when it's in built into the system, right? And you have that path, and that the next generation making decisions is going to look a lot different.
Yeah,
uh,
no, and I love that, because that light bulb goes on in some kid head across the world that probably started with something. Like, even you look at my business, I started with $10,000, but now every kid across the world know I don't need a lot of money to change my lifestyle, to change where I'm at. And I think that this will motivate kids, being able to see the Jay-Z, the Nas, the Puff Daddy, the 50 Cent, seeing people able to come from one life and to be able to take over something else. Even like with us, like, hopefully we're motivating kids in the grocery business now, where Master P came from entertainment, but now he's taking over the grocery business. And, we need that. When you look at the farmers, and you look at creating fresh fruit and products, and to be able to put this into these stores, and there's people that look like us on these farms, and creating all this. I mean, even in the cannabis game right now, like, you don't see too many African Americans owners of that. And I'm like, we need more of that now, because this is legit business, is legal, and probably a lot of minorities are using these products. But instead of just being on the backside of it, now being on the front side, investing, being able to do what Nas and Dre did into Beats, and what Nas doing in his technology side with the coins, is saying, be upfront, be in the beginning. This is how we create and build wealth. But educating our people, and getting the chance to see successful people, like you say, that look like them, that's gonna motivate, that's gonna spark the change. And that's what this whole interview about giving game is about, giving that blueprint to the people that need it, and educating the people that need to be educated on this, because we don't pray for money, we pray for wisdom. And when you pray for wisdom and knowledge, the money will come.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I think that's a great place to end it. That's it for my questions. Do you have anything else you wanted to get into?
Now, I want to thank everybody that participated in the rodeo, the technology rodeo. This is the second annual, and it's only going to get better. I salute everybody that soaked up this game today, and I feel like that's what my life is about. I want to give our culture and our people that game. We don't need to hide this. Success is only temporary. We can't take this with us, but we definitely can leave an imprint, and leave that blueprint for the ones that want to soak up this game.
For sure. All right. Well, on behalf of the Houston Tech Rodeo, thank you all for watching. Master P, thank you so much for imparting your wisdom on the audience, and it was a real pleasure. So hopefully next year in Houston in person.
Yes, we can do it up.
All right, good deal. Thanks again.
Thank you.
Do I think Tech Rodeo is going to be amazing this year? Of course. Of course it's going to be amazing.
Oh my God, I cannot believe Master P agreed to do Houston Tech Rodeo this year. I can't believe I got him to agree.
Megan thinks we're gonna get over 80 events. Come on, that's crazy.
We have over 100 events. Last year we had 36. This is pretty awesome.
Yoga. Yeah, I mean, I should add that to my routine.
What a hashtag is this little pound number sign right here.
Like this?
Mark my words, I will never join Clubhouse.
That, all Tech Rodeo swag.
You guys want to go to St. Arnold after this? I'm buying. Nah.
Oh my gosh, Brian's on Clubhouse.
Where is everybody?